Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. While yes, this video is about my greatest insecurity and my journey to overcome it, I do not want your pity. I do not want the takeaway to be, "Aw, Zach, he doesn't have any friends." I will walk into the ocean. Okay, so I guess the first thing I need to talk about is how did I get here? Well, not here, this is not a real place, but how did I get to the point of making a video about making friends? Well, you see, so that's not entirely true. I do have some friends, peripheral friends, friends that live far away, but I don't have like a support system group of friends. I don't have people to do stuff with on the weekends, and I am very, very insecure about it. In fact, talking about it right now makes me want to barf. And I know what you're probably asking at this point, Zach, you're so funny and smart and medium hot and you know so many interesting facts and you have such an extensive trinket collection. How could you not have any friends? Well, you see, dear viewer, I did have a lot of friends, but then... And suddenly I had 0 friends. And I became very aware very quickly that I didn't actually know how to make friends, which brings me to number 1 on the list of how to make friends according to Zach. But fine, move, I don't care. The main thing that moving away made me really aware of is that in high school or college, I didn't really have to make friends as much as I just absorbed them through prolonged exposure, like radiation. And I know that is not everybody's experience, but I'm someone who is generally pretty easy to get along with. And so being surrounded by dozens and dozens of my peers for hours at a time allowed me to sort of acquire friends without having to actually work very hard for it. But when I moved away, that aspect of education tethered social life also went away, and with it, the notion of passively making friends, and suddenly I had to. And since I didn't know how to work for it, I just didn't work for it for literally years. I just head down, focused on my career, made no effort to make friends, and as a result, nothing happened. And since nothing was just happening on its own, I became really independent, right? Like I was entrenched in my isolation under the guise of independence. Like, look how cool I am. I don't need friends. I'll go to concerts by myself. I'll go to movies by myself. I'm so independent. But in reality, I just wasn't trying to make friends. So now you're trying to tell me 5 years later that I'm depressed because I don't have any friends? Okay, so I'll learn to work on it. Where do we begin? Well, I don't have any friends now. I didn't just make friends naturally, so I must need to get better. I must need to... When it comes to getting good, I really like self-help books. I like the format. I like that it feels productive when you read them. But upon recent reflection, I think I actually read self-help books because I feel like I constantly need to be improving, to be more worthy or whatever. And it's not just self-help. I think it's with climbing or making videos. Like I need to be better to be more worthy of friendship. And I think this is a really dangerous way of thinking, obviously, because 1, it crushes your self-esteem. Like if you always think you need to be better, then you don't value yourself the way that you are right now. And 2, because it allows you to wallow without actually doing any of the hard work, right? It's easy to read books, but there will always be more books to read. It's easy to work out more.
You can always be thinner, look better.
The reality is if you wait until you're ready to put yourself out there, you will literally never put yourself out there because you will never feel ready. And so what you have to do, and what I've had to do, and what I'm still constantly doing is you got to sit yourself down and say, listen here, buddy, you are worthy of friendship right now in your current state. So quit being a little baby boy and get out there. That being said, I do think some self-improvement, like if your personality is hurtful or destructive, or like if you need to shower more frequently, I think then some self-improvement is actually good. For example, I often don't do a very good job of showing interest in people. Like in my mind, I will be very interested, but as this Hinge date eloquently pointed out, I don't ask a lot of questions or smile very much. And so my good self-improvement is to be more mindful of showing interest in people, smiling more, asking more questions, just generally letting people know how I feel about them, which segues quite nicely into... At some point in my life, my fear of rejection and need to be perfect all the time morphed into this like cold, calculated, intense personality. Everything is coated with irony and distance. So terrified am I at the idea that I might like somebody more than they like me. So afraid of being perceived as a sucker.
Well, I cannot live my life this way any longer. I'm a sweet and sensitive boy with a lover's heart, and I will not hide it away from the world. I do, in fact, need love and affection. I am going to be a sucker. Being cool is for cowards.
I do think for me that this has been the hardest part about making friends, not because I'm super cool, LOL, but because I'm very bad at allowing myself to be honest with myself and with others about how I feel. And I think sometimes I come across as just unfriendly. Like, hi, my name is Zach. I desperately want to be your friend so badly, but I'm so terrified of your rejection that I'm actually just gonna be kind of a cold dick to you. Shocker that that hasn't been a game-winning strategy in the friend-making department. So I've been trying to allow myself to be a sucker more, and sometimes I feel like an idiot, but that's the work. This one is actually pretty straightforward. But it is a scary one. You have to do a lot of things that you don't want to do. Talk to a lot of strangers, go to social events that you probably don't want to go to that badly. I've made it my mission to just say yes to all of the social interactions that present themselves to me, whether I want to go or not. Okay, I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna try not to furrow my brow so much. Julie made fun of me and I don't want that to happen again. I've started volunteering because that's what they say to do on Reddit if you want to meet people. And I've had mixed results. I've gotten sunburnt. But I've also just started talking to everybody with the intention of getting to know them. This has been really big at the climbing gym, of course, but then like at grocery stores and stuff, if you just talk to like the clerk as if you're trying to get to know them, I feel that it just becomes easier and easier, because at the beginning it felt really stupid and it was really awkward. And there's still a lot of times where it feels stupid and awkward, but you just have to stay mindful of like the mission. Honestly, I think most people want to be friends. They're just not going to take the initiative. I know that's literally how I've been my entire life. And so if you can just like break the ice, things usually go pretty well. I mean, some people are shitty. There's no way around that, but I'd say generally people want to be friendly. I literally wrote this part into the script so that I could buy a Lego. So that brings us to the part of the plan that I'm at now. An unexpected hurdle that nobody could have anticipated, except for anybody who's ever tried to do anything, ever. Turns out that even when you do all of the hard work, there are not immediate results. Especially since it's new, right? Like, it's very easy for me to feel like I'm behind because I haven't been trying for 5 years to make friends, but there's no timeline. The work begins when the work begins. And it's very easy to feel bad. It's especially hard when you are trying to get in with a friend group that already exists, because you're on the outside for a while and you want to be on the inside. Oh yes, I would love some of your croissant, thank you. But in reality, it probably took them ages to form their friend group, especially with this guy. And so you just really have to be patient, and it's hard. I think I forgot to say patience is a virtue. It's like the whole point of the chapter, and I forgot to use the adage. Anyway. Another thing that I've noticed is that at the beginning, your sample size is very small, and so everything is weighted sort of unfairly. Like if you go to 2 parties and one of those parties sucks ass, then suddenly half of the parties you've gone to suck ass, and that's a lot of ass suckage. It's just a numbers game, so the more things you attend, the less likely a huge swath of the things you've attended will suck ass. More at-bats equals more hits, gang. Final thing that I've noticed from starting literally from scratch is maybe desperation is too strong a word, but definitely desperation adjacent. Like, I want it so badly that every interaction becomes life or death. And it's really important to just be mindful that it is not that way to the other person. Like, to the other person, you are just someone that they have the privilege of getting to know, and it's not that serious. And so you just also have to keep in mind that it's not that serious. Like, some interactions will not be transcendent. That's not sustainable. So you just have to keep in mind that one interaction is not going to make or break any relationship. And if that's going to happen, then that's not a good relationship anyway. So that's the work. There you have it, the list. But no, it's good to talk about because I can't be the only person that feels this way. And I think, you know, seeing other people experience it makes it less shitty, because it is a shitty thing. It's hard, you know, and draining, and sometimes it feels like it's going nowhere. So one day I'll make a video and say, look at all the friends that I've made, and this will be a fun thing to look back on. I recently started befriending some rad people at the climbing gym, so I have a bad habit of talking about people in my content and then them seeing it and then having to have a conversation with it. So if you're one of those people, what's up? Thanks for watching the whole thing. I'm excited to be your friend. That's all. If you're in LA, hit me up. Let's do something. If you're not in LA, like and subscribe. Bye.